Welcome back to iSpot Sports. I'm Griff.
I'm Matt.
Episode 16. We just had a good week of football, and the fantasy playoffs are about to begin, so this is a pretty big episode.
Yeah, it really is. I'm in the playoffs in, 5 out of 6 leagues, so I can't complain.
I'm in the playoffs in 1 out of 3, and I barely got in. I got in because of a catch by DeAndre Hopkins on the last drive, so shout out to whoever had Hopkins.
Yeah, I edged out for most points in one of my leagues by 0.4 points.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's been a crazy year for fantasy. I feel like there's been a lot of inconsistencies. Can you really name a consistent player aside from like a Travis Kelce or, even Justin Jefferson has had a couple bad games.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts has been pretty consistent.
I believe he's the number 1 overall player at the moment for all of fantasy. Outside of that, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's been a crazy fantasy year. You got guys like Kenneth Walker who come out, pop off kind of late and then get hurt.
Mm-hmm. Same with Pierce.
Pierce, yeah, he was looking great down the stretch, and then all of a sudden he's kind of slowed down a little bit. He still is, I think, 7th in rushing yards, but
my favorite surprise this year was Miles Sanders.
Yes, you guys that got him in the 3rd, 4th rounds. What a steal. He just came off a monster game.
It looks like in my league this year, he was drafted in the 9th round.
Wow, 9th?
9th round. And he's the number 10 PPR running back, number 37 overall player by Sleeper. This year he's just been unbelievable.
Put him behind that offensive line. And
yeah, he's got 1,000 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns already, averaging over 5 a carry. I think the Eagles really have something there.
I don't know. He's a free agent after this season. He's gonna after the season he's having, he's gonna demand a lot of money. I'm not sure they're gonna invest in the running back position, especially when there's a lot of solid running backs coming into this draft class.
It's true, but you've got Miles Sanders. He's 25 years old. I think he could be a top back in the league. He's showing it right now.
Hear me out. You don't re-sign Sanders. You have Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. Maybe you go out and you sign a lower end back.
I don't even know who's hitting for
like a Donta Foreman or someone of that caliber, and then you trade down from your Saints pick to a 10, 11th pick.
Take
around
Bijan.
There. Take Bijan Robinson. Imagine Bijan Robinson behind that offensive line in that offense.
Yeah, that would be pretty insane. But you also have to understand, your O-line's getting older.
It is.
You don't know how long Kelsey's going to be around. You don't know how long Lane Johnson's going to be around.
You're right.
So
both are playing at all-pro caliber.
They are. No, they 100% are. But it's just a matter of, do they want to keep playing football? Kelsey talked about retiring for years now.
Yeah, but you also have a different culture now, and he's one of the most respected guys in that locker room. And he's been grooming Cam Jurgens, who we drafted. You have Landon Dickerson, who I'm pretty sure, didn't he play center?
He did. He played center
in college.
At Bama. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have some options to replace Kelsey.
Nobody's
ever going to replace Kelsey, but
no, you can't. He's one of the best centers ever.
They've been preparing for this offensive line to retire or just either leave or whatever. Yeah, and we haven't seen it, but they've been preparing for it.
Instead of retiring, they're just putting out Christmas albums together.
Yeah, which are really good.
It is really good. It is really good. Jordan Mailata's got a really good voice.
He's got an insane voice.
You showed me it a couple of weeks ago. He was on on The Voice, was it?
No, he was on The Masked Singer.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
And he's gifted for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know any other player that's 6'8" that can sing like he can.
Yeah.
But
you know who else is really gifted?
Are you about to say who I think you are?
I think we're thinking the same thing. Jared Goff.
Wow. What a take.
Jared Goff, he's been, dare we say, elite. The last couple of weeks, he's been a top quarterback in the league. He's had a lot of games this year where he looks like he could be a top quarterback in the league, which is just unreal.
He's had 2 straight weeks of 330 plus passing yards.
Yep.
And at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
330 yards and 3 touchdowns following a week where he threw for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Lions' offense just looks explosive.
Yeah, we've talked about it all season. I mean, you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams is back now and he's healthy. Makes his first catch on a big play downfield.
He was wide open.
He was wide open.
There's nobody.
But like that's the kind of that's his game. Like,
yeah, and
that's what you could expect out of him.
And that's the deep threat that they need. But also somebody that's been stretching the field from them lately is DJ Chark, who we've mentioned in previous podcasts. And I mean, between him and Jameson Williams, you got to stretch the field, and you also got to worry about Amon-Ra St. Brown underneath.
And not only that, they're working 3 running backs into the game plan.
They are.
You got Swift, Jamal Williams.
As a Jamal Williams owner, it's a little frustrating.
And Justin Jackson's getting touches, but
yeah.
The offense is just dynamic. They've got a ton of playmakers. The O-line, we talk about it a lot. They've got a really good O-line.
They do. Yeah, I mean, Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker.
And people in our shorts trash
Frank
us
Ragnow.
Whenever we take the Lions O-line in a versus
Jackson.
challenge, but their O-line's really good.
I'm pretty sure they're ranked top 10.
They have to be.
I mean, just you can't have Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, and not be ranked top 10.
Before we carry on, how about Penei Sewell as a receiving threat?
Yeah. Wow.
We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sure the Bengals are kicking themselves for passing on him and taking Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Penei Sewell seals the game with a big. He was out in motion, caught a swing pass.
I love that. I love when you get big guys involved
like
in the
7
offense.
yards.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. But in a moment where you're ahead by, they were up by 2 scores, I think. But still, it's in a moment. It's a big 3rd down. You're trusting Penei Sewell to get the ball to seal the game, and he does it.
Right. He's just an athlete, and he has his brother is coming into the league too.
We'll talk about him more in the off season.
Yeah. Check out our mock drafts, by the way.
Yeah,
just a little plug.
Yeah. We do have Noah Sewell going first round in both of the mock drafts we have up. So
yeah, I mean, talk about gifted family.
Yeah, I think they have another brother too.
Really?
I believe at Utah.
I believe it.
I believe so. I don't know.
Don't quote him on that.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. Jaguars offense, another offense that's been really good this year.
Masterclass offense, somebody say.
This week it was. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence goes 30 for 42, 368, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Evan Engram has a career day, 11 catches, 162, and 2 touchdowns.
Since when could Evan Engram catch the ball?
When he is Trevor Lawrence.
And catch the ball that well. I mean, come on. He had one of the best tight end fantasy days of the year.
Oh, yeah. I can't say I've watched a ton of the Jags this year. I did get to catch most of this game, and watching Trevor Lawrence make these throws, his arm's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he's a really good quarterback.
He's really progressing and living up to the hype right now, I think.
He is, but something that I keep saying, and I'll die on this hill, is you got to view this year like it's Trevor Lawrence's rookie season.
100%.
Because he lost his rookie season to having Urban Meyer as head coach. So you got to look at his, this season as his rookie season. Same with, ETN lost his to injury. So, your first round draft picks back in 2021 are almost like it's their rookie season here in 2022. So what he's doing right now, and I'm pretty sure he's been a great statistical quarterback as well the past couple of weeks.
And he has, and just think, next year he's getting Calvin Ridley.
Right. Oh, I forgot about Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk. Zay Jones is a solid number 3 option.
Zay Jones has had some really big games this year and had some really terrible games. He just had 8 for 77 and a touchdown. Last week he was 2 for 16. And then the week before that, he was 11 for 145. So he's kind of up and down, but he's a solid option.
He makes plays when he has to.
Yeah, he's a solid option. Marvin Jones is getting older.
I was just about to say, he reminds me a lot of Marvin Jones.
He does. Just a younger version that will probably be in this offense a lot longer than Marvin Jones.
A lot of people wrote off Zay Jones. He was a second-round pick back in 2017.
He ain't right back.
Well, would you? He's still number 3 option at best. I don't know if he's worth a second round pick.
No, he is, but
if Evan Engram can keep up this kind of production, obviously he's not going to produce like this every week. But if he can,
be a viable target,
catch the ball like he did this game, and just continue to be a nice check down option for Trevor Lawrence
and draw coverage. You have to pay attention to him. And then next year when you have Calvin Ridley in this offense,
It's almost a scary offense.
Yeah, you've improved your team for next year already. Mm-hmm. This team's probably not. They're not a playoff team. Yeah, not even probably not. I think now they're not.
I think next year they're a playoff team 100%. Easily. I think they win the division next year. Doug Peterson's a good coach.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence is a really talented quarterback, and Doug Peterson, being a great head coach, is kind of like a quarterback whisperer.
And the division isn't good.
The division's not good. It's getting worse.
Yeah. I could see it.
Yeah, I think the Jags are on the up and coming. I mean, Evan Engram, I believe, is on a 1-year deal. If they bring him back,
he is. But
they should bring him back.
Yeah,
after a game like that, I think you earn a contract.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it all year too. The tight end position this year has just been lackluster.
Yeah, I mean, he looked. You know, who he looked good against when they played Denver. He had a nice stat line there, and I mean, talk about a good defense he was playing against too.
Yeah, 4 for 55 and a touchdown.
I mean, but you can't ask for any more.
And he's had back-to-back. I mean, last week against Detroit, he was 5 for 30 with a touchdown.
You can't ask for any more from your tight end, though.
No,
you get a first down,
especially this year. I mean, he's touchdown, first down, guy in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean that's what you want out of your tight end. But for somebody that's 6'3", I mean, and athletic, like he was one of the fast. When he was drafted, I think he had ran the fastest 40 time of all the tight ends.
You know what's interesting? I believe last week or going into Sunday, he was like the number 10 or 11 tight end. He puts up that game. He's the number 4 ranked tight end in PPR right now.
Well, that just goes to show how
the tight end position.
Yeah, the tight end position this year. Unless you had Travis Kelce, who didn't have that great of a week this week.
No, but I think the gap between Kelce, this was a couple weeks ago. This is like maybe 2 weeks ago. The gap between Kelce and the number 2, I forget who it was. I think it was Mark Andrews still. But the gap between Kelce and Andrews was bigger than the gap between Andrews and the number 32 tight end.
I believe it, just because, I mean, Kelce's 5th in receiving yards right now.
Yeah.
He's having a career year. He just passed 10,000 receiving yards in his career.
Yep. Fastest tight end to do it in terms of games played.
Yep.
Yeah, this year he has, what are his stats? I don't even know. He's got 1,039 yards and 12 touchdowns.
With how many games to play?
Yeah, they still got 4 games.
4 games?
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The tight end position, if you drafted Travis Kelce, you're ahead of the game. And it just goes to show the positional advantage you have going into the drafts. Like, you gotta view that. Like, some people knock on people who take, like, quarterbacks early or, like, a tight end early. But this year, I mean, Travis Kelce, where's he rank in total points?
Number 12.
He's number 12 in total points.
PPR, yeah.
And you're not counting quarterbacks. I mean, you could wait and take. I mean, if you got Jalen Hurts later in the, like, the 3rd, 4th round.
I think Hurts. I'll see where he went in my league, but I don't even. Oh, never mind. He was somebody's keeper. I was like, how did he go in the 14th round? Oh. Somebody took him in the 14th round last year and used him as his keeper, which.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like between like the 4th and like 6th round. Yeah. Like that was kind of his ADP, Jalen Hurts. You get someone like him who's killing it in fantasy, and you took like Travis Kelce in the 1st round. I mean, you could have went and gotten like a Kenneth Walker or like a Miles Sanders later in the draft.
I think my biggest mistake is like taking running backs too early now.
Yeah, that's been my mistake too, because forever running backs were such a valued position because they were such a hot commodity. It was like you only have like this handful of these workhorse backs that were do it all, but now we're running more of a running back by committee.
Yep.
And there's a lot more upside across the board with running backs. Because PPR, you get a receiving back like
Antonio Gibson,
who's
the 18th ranked running back,
who can easily put up 15 points a week, just putting up 10 carries and having a couple catches.
Yeah.
I mean, receiver. I mean, it should be valued a little higher than running back. Running backs.
I never valued receiver high. I was always like stack RB.
Neither was I. But I mean, well, let me scratch that, because I mean, you take someone like Justin Jefferson. He's had a great year.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cooper Kupp's gotten hurt. Jamar Chase has had a solid year.
Jamar Chase has been really good this year when he's healthy.
Devontae Adams has been a stud. Tyreek Hill has been a stud.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are averaging like 20 fantasy points a week.
Stephon Diggs,
like all these top receivers, and look at the top backs. What's Jonathan Taylor done? I mean, McCaffrey. I mean, he's been great.
Yeah,
but
McCaffrey's been really good.
Other than that, Dalvin Cook.
Ranked, I think Taylor finally got into the. No, he's still number 23 running back in PPR right now.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, which was the consensus number 1 overall pick for a lot of leagues.
I took him number 1. He's ranked the 81st best player in PPR right now.
Wow. Guys like Dalvin Cook, Najee Harris, but then you go to the second round, you got a guy like Saquon Barkley who's been really consistent.
Josh Jacobs went in the 5th round.
Give me like Kelsey first round, Barkley second round. Like that's a killer draft. Hurts later.
Yeah.
Like you're killing your leagues if you went and you went against the grain. I think that's where fantasy is going right now. Is you can't just go with what everybody's saying and favoring like running backs over receivers because the league's changed.
It has, and you got to kill it on the waiver wire. And one guy that you could get on the waiver wire, the Brock star.
Yeah,
Brock Purdy.
Wow. I was wrong about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to decline a lot in his production.
Well, yeah. I mean, they got tape on him now. Like that's
right. And he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
But you look at him now, and what he went 16 of 21, 2 touchdowns, and he had a rushing touchdown in his first career start. And
he played, I think, the entire second half with an oblique injury.
Which, I mean, that's painful.
It is. I think he got hurt in the second quarter. Granted, like most of his, I think over a third of his fantasy points came in the first quarter. First quarter, he absolutely lit it up.
He did.
But still, like, he's making big plays. He's making big throws when he has to. He looks really good in these situations, in third downs, in these pressure situations. And he's not folding under pressure. And that's what I like about him a lot. Mm-hmm. You say you're wrong about him. I don't know if you're necessarily wrong. Now that teams start getting more tape, like the second half, he didn't look as good. Like the Bucs started to figure him out a bit. But, I mean, he's providing this kind of spark for the offense. They just absolutely killed the Bucs.
Does this mean Jimmy Garoppolo has just been a system quarterback?
I thought that was a given.
Well, I mean,
so like
you mentioned the other week that you wouldn't mind Jimmy Garoppolo on the Jets.
Oh, I wouldn't.
But if he's a system quarterback and he's thriving in Shanahan's system,
so
who's to say he's going to go and be good under Saleh?
I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I think the system's perfect for him.
The point I'm trying to get at is if you've had system quarterbacks, or if it's a system quarterback type offense, and you bring in a healthy Trey Lance next year, who has immense upside because of his athleticism, the 49ers could be like even better than they are right now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
they could be disgustingly good.
Kyle Shanahan can't evaluate quarterbacks, but once he gets them into the offense, he's really good at elevating them and developing them.
Right. I'm excited to watch Trey Lance, a healthy Trey Lance play, because I think in that offense, I mean, you got McCaffrey, you have Deebo Samuel, you have Trey Lance, you have so many dynamic athletic guys.
Now, let me raise this point too, though. What if? I mean, this is a huge what if because it's. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it could happen. What if Brock Purdy leads this team to a Super Bowl? What if he wins a Super Bowl? Just a what if. How can you go away from the guy that just won you a Super Bowl?
I mean, that's definitely a hard decision to make.
Right.
But that's why they get paid the big bucks.
That's why we're not getting paid to make those decisions. But
right. I mean, you got to take it to training camp and see who looks better.
I guess.
I mean, you got to have Lance fight it out with Purdy. You got to have Lance earn that spot back. But you don't just draft Trey Lance and trade up for him and give up what you gave up to get him to not start him.
Right. But you got to make him earn it. I mean, he's barely in his first 2 seasons. He's barely been able to touch the field. This last year because they were rocking with Jimmy G.
I mean, sometimes it's a business though. Look at Nick Foles. Nick Foles goes and wins the Super Bowl with the Eagles after Wentz. You know the story. Mm-hmm. But then Nick Foles doesn't really get a. He goes to Jacksonville, gets a starting gig. The Eagles stick with Wentz because that's the guy they invested in.
Well, the issue with that, though, Foles was in his 30s, though, wasn't he? At that time?
Early 30s.
Yeah. Purdy's 22.
Yeah.
So you've got Purdy, who's 22. Lance, I believe he's also 22, 23, 22.
Wow, 22.
So you have two 22-year-old quarterbacks. Now, I mean, like we said, this is just a big what if.
Right.
But if Brock Purdy could come out and make a Super Bowl run, you've got two 22-year-old quarterbacks that are going to be fighting for a position to start for this offense. They're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, they're in great shape. Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about the 49ers last week. They're definitely probably the second best team right now in the NFC.
Yeah.
Arguably third if you want to put Dallas above them, but
I still think they're better than Dallas.
I'd say it's 2A, 2B.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's jump into our picks this week.
Yeah.
Week 15 picks. Last week you did go 7-6. I went 6-7. You're 122, 85-2. I'm 127, 80-2. Still got a 5-game lead on you.
Darn.
We do have 4 different picks though.
We do this week.
We've got Thursday night, 3 Saturday, bunch of Sunday, and 1 Monday. No more bye weeks. Let's just jump into it.
It's the nitty-gritty we're getting down to right here.
Thursday night, talking about San Fran, we got San Fran at Seattle.
Seattle's not looked that great.
The defense has been really bad.
It has. And then there's San Fran, who is the best defense in the league.
Yep.
And just is still able to score on offense.
Yep. I think this is a pretty easy pick. I'm going San Fran.
I'm also going San Fran.
Yep.
But you never know. I mean, Seattle could come out. Seattle's home. It's a divisional game.
Any given Thursday, baby.
Yeah, it is a Thursday night game, so beware.
Yeah. I actually think it could be a pretty solid game.
I hope
it's
so.
It's one of the better Thursday night games on paper, I think.
For sure. Then we would jump into Saturday, where 1 o'clock we have Indianapolis at Minnesota.
Let me just say, I don't like Saturday NFL games.
Really?
I don't. Saturday.
It does feel a little wrong.
It doesn't feel right. You know, I just don't like it.
At least the night game, like you don't have work the next day.
No, I guess that's true.
And you get
the
more
next
football.
day. You've got to wake up and watch football.
Oh yeah.
Damn, tough life.
Yeah, right.
Right. The first Saturday game, we got Indy at Minnesota, the 1 o'clock game. That is big because it's Kirk Cousins playing at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm going to rock with Indy though. I don't think Minnesota's good. I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. Minnesota just dropped to 10-3, and I will keep saying it. I think they're the worst 10-3 team I've seen. Whoa! What are you
Ignore
doing?
that. That's ESPN, man. Ignore ESPN. Sorry about that.
You know, they're coming off a game where they just got completely outplayed by the Lions, and yeah, I just don't think they're good. They've been winning games barely. Mm-hmm. They've been letting opponents back into games, and we were just looking before. Indy's got I think they got the number 3 ranked pass defense. Mm-hmm. So I'm rocking with Indy here. So
the Vikings, yeah, you're right. They probably aren't the greatest 10-3 team right now, but they do have 10 wins on the season. And may I say, Kirk Cousins threw for over 400 yards. Justin Jefferson had 11 catches, 220 yards, 223 yards to be exact. Like they're still producing on offense, and Indy they're so slow on offense. You know, they're so sluggish. I think Detroit came out and was able to score more points than Minnesota because both have bad defenses and great offenses. And I just think it was a shootout that Detroit won. Indianapolis, though, I don't think Matt Ryan is going to be able to put up as many points as Detroit was able to. Comes down to quarterback. Kirk Cousins has the edge on Matt Ryan for me. I got to go Minnesota winning this one.
Okay.
At home.
Yeah, I'm still rocking Indy. We got Baltimore at Cleveland the next Saturday. It's the Saturday afternoon game.
This is a coin flip.
4:30 game.
Talk about a coin flip.
Yeah, I'm going to have to rock with Cleveland. I still don't have faith in Tyler Huntley, even if he does play. If he doesn't play, it looks like Anthony Brown's going to be the starting quarterback.
Is Lamar still going to be out?
Yeah, I believe so. He's out, they said 1 to 4 weeks, right? I just don't. Let's see.
Well, I mean, Cleveland, I hate to take Cleveland because Cleveland has been so just mediocre.
They have. Really have.
Nick Chubb does not have that spark that he had at the beginning of the season.
Deshaun Watson's not good.
Nope. a good person or a good player.
Right.
And I don't know, like I feel like Baltimore, if they have Lamar, they're the easy favorites.
100%.
But with Lamar's status in question and Tyler Huntley's status in question, I gotta lead in Cleveland here. I mean, J.K. Dobbins did have a big game. He had 120 yards.
Yeah.
His presence is being felt on that offense, which is definitely good for Baltimore as they approach the playoffs. But I gotta lean Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm leaning Cleveland too.
Miami at Buffalo.
Good game.
Gonna be a great game.
I'm going to rock with Buffalo at home. I think playing a night game in Buffalo, it's going to be freezing. We just had the report that Miami had heaters on the sideline inside the dome against LA. Mm-hmm. It's not a good look for a team that's got to travel to Buffalo and play in these. I mean, it's not going to be warm in Buffalo in December, I can tell you.
No, and Tyreek is a little banged up.
Yep. Jeff Wilson's hurt.
And yeah, I'm totally with you there. The whole weather in Buffalo, I think, is going to play a major factor in this game.
I agree.
Give me Buffalo.
Yep. Philly at Chicago. I think this is a Philly blowout all day long.
Well, I do want to acknowledge I said Philly by 20 last week, and you were surprised.
Yeah.
And Philly won by more than 20.
Yeah, I am still surprised because divisional game against the Giants, it's normally tough game. The Giants, like we said, they haven't really been healthy, and I just don't think they've looked good as of late. Yeah, Philly looked really good. Jalen Hurts looked really good. We'll talk about him later. Yeah, I'm rocking with Philly against Chicago.
I got to go with my boys just on paper. This matchup, like you said, it should be a blowout. A little concerned because you got Dallas next week. You could be looking ahead if you're Philly to that Dallas game.
I don't think so. I think Nick Sirianni's got control of this locker room. I think the players realize they're taking this one game at a time, and they're just riding the wave right now. And
yeah. No, I'm with you there. It's just, again, a lot of times when there's a big game coming up the next week, you tend to slip up the week before.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if this was a closer game than people think, but I definitely going Philly here.
Atlanta at New Orleans, the NFL debut of Desmond Ridder.
Yes.
I think Ridder gets the dub. I just think, we always talk about how when a new quarterback comes in, provides that spark. I feel like Atlanta gets that spark this week against New Orleans, and I think Ridder gets it done.
Yeah, this game is up in the air for me. I was really on the fence in between here, but I have to lean Atlanta for the reasons that you just mentioned.
Yeah. Got Detroit at the Jets. I think this could be a pretty good matchup. Not even just saying that because my Jets bias, but I do think these teams match up pretty well against each other.
Yeah.
Detroit has a really high-powered offense. The Jets have one of the top defenses. Jets offense has looked pretty shaky, but the Detroit defense is pretty shaky.
Right.
For those reasons, I'm leaning Jets here. Jets at home.
Jets do have the third best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, and if Mike White does play, which they are planning for Mike White to play, I think he has a really nice day against this Detroit secondary, who's not very good.
You got the fourth best offense here going against the third best defense.
Yeah.
My brain is telling me go Jets. My gut is telling me go Detroit. I just think Detroit is riding that wave right now and just has so much momentum, and they're rallying behind Dan Campbell. If you win out, you're probably in the playoffs. I think this is a big game for Detroit. I think Detroit comes out and they win this game. I don't think Mike White's going to be able to keep up with Jared Goff in that high-powered offense.
Okay. Got Pitt at Carolina. Carolina coming off a big win against Seattle. I think Carolina's defense has been very solid. Outside of the game where they allowed, 5-6 touchdowns, I think it was 5 touchdowns to Joe Mixon, the defense has been really good. They're probably a top 10 defense without that game. I'm leaning Carolina here, especially if Mitch Trubisky's starting. He didn't look good at all against Pitt. Or, well, not against Pitt. Against Baltimore. If Kenny Pickett finishes that game against Baltimore, I think the Steelers end up winning that game. But, yeah, I got to go Carolina here.
I got to go Pitt just because I don't think Carolina's defense is going to be able to, or I'm sorry, offensive line is going to be able to hold off on Pitt's defense. TJ Watt is a game wrecker. He's going to come in and he's going to terrorize Sam Darnold. Is that who's starting now for Carolina?
Yeah.
Give me Pitt all day here. Whether it's Trubisky or Pickett playing quarterback, I don't think Carolina is going to be able to overcome TJ Watt.
We got Dallas at Jacksonville. I'm going to rock with Dallas. How can I not?
Yeah, I mean, Dallas struggled against Houston.
They did.
They ended up pulling that game out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And now they play Jacksonville, who just had a big game. They're coming off a huge win. They're home, but I gotta lean Dallas. Just that Dallas defense is unreal.
Yep. KC at Houston. This one's easy. KC.
I mean, Houston's worst team in the league. Although they did.
They're a scrappy 1-win team. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
They really are.
Scrappy is the perfect word to describe them. Yeah.
But KC.
Kansas City all day.
Arizona at Denver. Probably gonna get Colt McCoy versus
Brett Rippon.
Brett Rippon.
Upgrade over Wilson.
I'd rock Rippon, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm going Denver if Wilson's out. And I'm being completely honest here. I'm not even messing around. If Russell Wilson plays, Colt McCoy wins this game for Arizona.
Denver's defense just has been unreal, and I mean that's just gonna put it over for me. Arizona got destroyed by New England.
Yeah.
On the defense side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean you look at Matt Judon and what's it, James Uche? I think that's his name. Josh Uche.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Pats. But they're difference makers off the edge there. They looked really good against that O-line of Arizona, who's not very good.
I will say Pat Surtain against D-Hop is going to be a great matchup.
Should be, yeah.
But I think Brett Rippon, yeah, I think he is going to be ripping apart this Arizona defense.
I hope so. We got New England at Vegas. I'm going to rock with New England.
Bill Belichick's going to know Josh McDaniels way too well.
Yeah.
New England here, especially with the way New England's defense looked. Yeah.
Tennessee at the Chargers. Chargers coming off a big win against Miami, and they're fighting for a playoff spot. Tennessee probably going to win that division. But yeah, I'm rocking with the Chargers here.
Yeah. Tennessee, I feel like they're due for a bounce back game, but they haven't given me any inclination of if when's that going to happen. I mean, three bad games in a row for Tennessee. Is that viable? I guess. I mean, they're such a well coached team. I hate to pick against them because I know the moment I do, they're going to win.
Yeah.
But I got to go Chargers. Chargers just they put it all together against Miami. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert. I mean, that offense is
having the healthy receivers.
All Sneckler out of the
huge.
backfield.
Yep.
Yeah, give me the Chargers.
Yep. Cincinnati at Tampa. I'm rocking Cincy.
Yeah. I gotta go Cincy too. I'm not sure if Tampa's gonna win that division. Tampa just is lacking that spark.
I want Carolina to win that division so bad.
Yeah. I'd like to see Atlanta win it.
Or that.
I think Atlanta just they've had their ups and downs this season, but it'd be a great Cinderella story for Desmond Ridder if he comes in and takes them to the playoffs.
That would. Yeah. Cincy, I think in this game, Jamar Chase just torches that secondary of Tampa.
Yep.
I think he has another monster game, and Cincy wins by a couple scores.
Wow. I do like Cincy. I think it might be a little closer than that. I think this could be a shootout, but yeah,
See,
Bengals.
The problem is Tampa's offense just can't score touchdowns.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know. They're, we got the Giants at Washington for the Sunday night game. Not really excited for this one, honestly. But I'm gonna rock with Washington here at home. I think Brian Robinson has a big game, and I think Washington wins by a score.
So, this game, man, I have my pick written down. I hate it.
I think the winner gets into the playoffs.
100%. I mean, this is for a play. This is a playoff game right here.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't know. I honestly don't know because everything is pointing towards Washington, but the Giants coming off a blowout.
Yep.
Like they just did against Philly, and Brian Daboll being, a really, really good head coach in my opinion. I could see them coming out and winning this game, even though everything points to Washington. I'm really going against everything my mind's telling me to. I'm going with my gut. I'm going Giants.
Okay. All right. That's it. Should be an interesting game. I'm just really not interested in it. I don't know why.
I don't know why, dude. Because the last time they played, I know it ended a tie, but that was a really competitive game.
Yeah, I personally just don't like watching NFC East divisional matchups, and I don't know why. I like watching the Eagles team just because Jalen Hurts is. I think he's a lot of fun to watch, and that defense is really solid. Outside of that, I don't like watching Dallas play. I don't like watching the Giants play. I don't like watching Washington play. I don't know. It's just something about that. Anyways, Monday night. This game I will not be watching. The Rams at Packers. Wow. This game's bad.
I got to go Green Bay. Green Bay's starting to put it together. Christian Watson looks really good.
Yes.
They're coming off a bye. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
Yep.
And the Rams are, high and mighty after coming off that win with Baker Mayfield. That I got to lean Green Bay.
Yeah, I got to lean Green Bay as well. That wraps up our picks. We have one person on the waiver wire watch real quick because we know it's the playoffs and
waiver wire watch.
I don't think these playoff teams are really looking for guys on waivers. I think your team's pretty set at this point. You're not worried about bye weeks anymore. Injuries happen. And there is one running back out there that I really do think could be a strong flex play, and that's Chuba Hubbard. Mm-hmm. Chuba Hubbard just got 17 touches, had 99 total yards in their game against Seattle. Foreman had more carries. He out-carried him 21-14, but they had the exact same yardage, and Hubbard did get a touchdown. He's only rostered in 39% of sleeper leagues, and I think in the playoffs, if you have any injuries, he's a great guy to plug in as a flex play.
Yeah, I mean, he outperformed Foreman. Was that a fluke maybe? But it's such a bad waiver wire right now. Anybody that was worth taking is probably rostered. So,
now, before we close out for the episode, we are going to make our updated awards picks. We're going back to episode 2. We made all of our awards picks for this season. Let's see. Your awards picks. MVP, you had Josh Allen. Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. Comeback Player of the Year, C-Mac. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Dameon Pierce. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson. My MVP pick was Justin Herbert, L. Offensive Player of the Year, I had Jefferson. Defensive Player of the Year, I had Micah Parsons. Comeback Player of the Year, I had Christian McCaffrey. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I had Chris Olave. And Defensive Rookie of the Year, I had Sauce Gardner. Let's make our updated picks real quick, because why not?
Starting with MVP.
Yep, I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes right now. And, I really understand the Jalen Hurts argument. I really do. But Patrick Mahomes has a cakewalk schedule going forward, and I just think he runs away with it because of that.
I'm going Jalen Hurts.
No surprise there.
Yeah. Well, and this is my unbiased pick.
No,
you compare the statistics, and Mahomes now all of a sudden after he had 3 interceptions last week.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has 3 interceptions on the year.
Yeah.
You add in Jalen Hurts' rushing upside, Jalen Hurts is a top 10 in passing yards. He has 22 touchdowns to 3 interceptions passing.
Yeah.
Mahomes leads the league in passing yards, has 33 touchdowns to 11 interceptions passing.
Yeah.
I like Hurts' ratio of touchdowns to interceptions a lot better. His team has a better record. And then you add his 10 rushing touchdowns and over 600 rushing yards to the equation, and I think he edges out Mahomes. Now, that's as of right now. I think going forward he continues to produce. I
hope so. I need him to in Dynasty playoffs.
I could see him finishing with over 30 passing touchdowns, probably 5 interceptions, and definitely over 4,000 yards passing. Like that, to me, that's an MVP season if you add in his rushing yards, which is probably going to be around 800 yards rushing and, 12, 13 rushing touchdowns. Like that's Lamar Jackson type numbers when he won the MVP. So I got to go Hurts.
The rest of my picks, I am sticking with all of the same players. Justin Jefferson is my offensive player of the year. Yours is also Jefferson.
I also have Justin
Sticking
Jefferson.
with that.
Yep.
How could you not?
Yeah, I mean, he's just been unreal.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year, I'm sticking with Micah Parsons. You are switching it to Micah Parsons.
I'm switching it to Micah Parsons. Well, TJ Watt, he got hurt, and that kind of derailed his 2022 campaign. But I still think if he had played the entire season, he'd still be in the contention.
Yeah. Right now, I just don't see how you can't go with Parsons. Comeback player of the year, we're both rocking McCaffrey, I believe.
Yeah, still.
Right now, the favorite is Geno Smith. I just think if McCaffrey helps carry this offense, wins 3 of their last 4 games, and leads them into the playoffs as, I guess, probably a top 3 seed. I just don't see how C-Mac can't win it.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a great season, and the Niners without their quarterback, I mean, again, he's gonna if he carries them to the playoffs, which he's going to. I don't see how you can't pick him. I mean, Geno Smith, he started off really well, but I mean, they might not even make the playoffs, Seattle. So I don't know. I got to go CMC.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm sticking with Olave. You could argue Garrett Wilson. You could argue Dameon Pierce still.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue Brian Robinson right now. You could argue Brock Purdy. But I got to stick with Olave. I just think, he's going to finish with over 1,000 yards. He might push 1,100 yards. I don't know what he's got for touchdowns, honestly. But, if he sticks with this, I see him winning it. I think he's top 15 in receiving yards?
Yeah, he's number 12.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson's 16th in receiving yards, and that's my offensive player of the year pick.
Yeah.
Dameon Pierce is going to finish with well over 1,000 rushing yards and, several touchdowns. But I got to change it to Garrett Wilson just because I think those voting are going to appreciate that Garrett Wilson has been the number 1 receiver on his team. I know Olave has as well, but Wilson's on a more winning team.
Yeah.
They're just the Jets are in playoff contention, and Garrett Wilson has helped contribute to that on offense. Chris Olave, I feel like a lot of his stats have been in garbage time, and just kind of filler stats. Olave's still great, but I think Garrett Wilson's going to edge him out for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, I am sticking with Sauce.
Okay.
I don't like the argument for your pick, because of the interceptions. And, but I'm still rocking with Sauce. He's a lockdown corner. He's a number 1 corner. He's going to be a lockdown corner for years. The Jets really got a good one in Sauce Gardner.
They did.
And I'm very happy about that. And I really hope he wins Rookie of the Year because he deserves it.
Yeah. I got to go Tariq Woolen. I see the argument for Sauce, but in this league, interceptions are valued a lot more heavily than they should.
Unfortunately. We
look at Trevon Diggs with his 9 interceptions.
Yep.
Or 11, what was it? It was something like that, right?
I believe it was 11, right?
Yeah. So.
Because they wanted to throw at him. Because he's good.
Right, because he was giving up a ton of yards. But Tariq Woolen has been pretty good in coverage.
Yeah.
And he has all those interceptions. Tied for first with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I got to go Tariq Woolen as my Defensive Rookie of the Year just because I think that's what the league's going to go with.
Yeah.
They're going to value those interceptions very highly.
Yep.
So I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, that does wrap it up for this week. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Merch link is in the description. Check us out on social media at IceBath Sports on Instagram and TikTok, at IceBath Pod on Twitter. You can check out the video version of this if you are not already on the IceBath Sports Podcast YouTube page. We just hit 10K, baby.
We did. Let's go.
Thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers.
Imagine there's confetti. There's not confetti right now, but imagine there is, yeah.
Thank you so much for 10,000 subscribers. This is just the beginning. We've only been going at this for 16 weeks now. 2023 is going to be massive.
It's going to be
just
huge.
Look out for a lot of new stuff coming up.
Content's going to be pumped out like crazy.
We will see you guys next Tuesday. And as always, stay cool.